I do.
Okay, please be seated. State your full name, spelling first and last for the record.
My name's Evanjelina Cleereman, spelled Evanjelina Cleereman.
Go ahead.
Ma'am, who is Jason Cleereman?
Jason Cleereman is my husband.
Okay. I want to show you what has been marked as State's Exhibit number 85.
Mr. Beeman, can you just adjust the mic a bit?
Will do. There you go. We'll just get you in a little bit. Is that better, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. I know you're soft-spoken, but if you could just kind of lean in. Who do we see here in State's Exhibit number 85?
Jason Cleereman,
And that was your...
my husband.
How long were you married?
We were married 23 years.
Do you have any kids?
2.
What did he do for a living?
He was an immigration attorney.
And did you help him?
I did.
Now, ma'am, I want to draw your attention to the day he died. You were present for that, weren't you?
Yes.
Okay. Before this incident, where had you and your husband been?
We had left work that day. I remember we worked really hard that day, and Jason was really proud of himself. He said, I really kicked the work out today, honey. And our plan was originally to just, go home and start dinner. But he said, I feel like going to Scaffidi's hideout to get a drink. And I said, okay, sure, we can do that.
So you went there for what, happy hour?
I think we missed the happy hour.
Okay. Now, when you went to Scaffidi's, how long were you there?
We were there a little over an hour.
And did he drink?
He did.
Did you drink?
I did.
How much did you have to drink?
I had 1 glass of wine.
How about your husband?
He had 3 beers.
Now, is Scaffidi's in any way, is it related to you or your husband?
Yes, it is. Scaffidi's is owned by my husband's brother-in-law, his sister's husband.
So this is a place you guys go?
Yes.
All right. And is it close to where your law office was, or his law office was?
Half a mile.
Who drove to the bar?
Jason drove to the bar.
Okay. And when you guys decided to leave, who drove?
I drove.
How come you drove?
I drove because Jason asked me to drive. He said I'd rather be careful. He said I'm not drunk or I don't feel anything, but I'd rather be careful if you drove.
I want to show you what has been marked as State's Exhibits numbers 19 and 20. Do you recognize that vehicle?
That is my vehicle.
Where is Scaffidi's?
It's on Humboldt. I don't know the exact cross street, but it's about 2 blocks north of Humboldt.
So when you left, which way did you head on Humboldt?
I was heading south on Humboldt.
And what street did you go to?
Well, I was proceeding straight. I was going to go back towards our office, and I was going to take I think it's Ogden, and then make a right to go past Pick and Save there, and then left on Jefferson to get onto the expressway. But at that moment, when I approached Brady Street, My husband said, you know, it's a really nice day. Why don't you just take a right and drive down Brady Street?
Kind of scenic route.
A scenic route. Hmm.
Were your windows up or down?
They were halfway down. Maybe a little bit less than halfway down.
So you're driving down Humboldt, you get to Brady. Which way do you turn?
I turned right on Humboldt onto Brady, so I'm heading west on Brady.
And while you're driving, do you encounter anybody on a bicycle?
Yes. I was driving down Brady. I remember I just had passed Dynamite. There's a restaurant on the north side of Brady. I just passed Dynamite, and all of a sudden, this bicyclist came out off the like Marshall and Brady, came off of the sidewalk into my lane in front of my car, and so I swerved very quickly to avoid hitting him. So
And did your husband, the victim, did he say anything at this moment?
Well, after I swerved and then went around him, my husband said, "What the heck?" He shouted out, "What the heck?"
Now, you remember him saying what the heck, is that correct?
That's what I remember.
Do you remember that night when you talked to officers when they're first arriving on scene? In a little bit. So you're driving, just want to make sure, you're driving westbound on Brady, and this bicyclist comes kind of like what, from the sidewalk area into your lane?
From the sidewalk area into my lane, riding on the right side of my vehicle.
You had to swerve around him?
Yes.
Did you hit anything that night?
No.
Your husband makes a comment. What happens next?
So after that happened and my husband shouted out the window, "What the heck?" I kept driving, and he's like, "Can you believe that?" I said, "No, I can't believe that." And I kept driving, and then the light turned red, and we were stopped at the red light in front of, I think it was Zana's Pizza, or maybe it was the other restaurant. And then while we were sitting at the stoplight, the bicyclist came back to the vehicle, or approached the vehicle.
Now, I just want to stop you right there. You stated that you're stopped at a red light kind of by Zana's Pizza, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
It's okay, it's okay. Remember, the court reporter needs yeses and nos.
Yes.
Now, as you are at that intersection, that would be basically Brady and Holton, right?
Yes.
Okay. Kind of the bridge is off to your right?
So that's where Van Buren and Holton change.
Okay. Now, you indicated that a person on a bicycle then came up on and approached your vehicle on his bicycle. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. One thing I want to get into right now, were you ever able to identify who this bicyclist was?
No.
The bicyclist comes up. Does he come up on the driver's side or the passenger side of your vehicle?
On the passenger side.
And when the bicyclist comes up on the passenger side of your vehicle, does he stop or does he keep going?
He stops.
What happens?
He stops at the window, and he looks at my husband, and he says, "Were you talking to me?"
Does your husband say anything?
My husband looks up, and he says, "Yes."
And then what happens?
And then the man on the bike violently punches my husband in the face. And then my husband's glasses, his head came towards my side, and then his glasses flew off of his face across me and then hit my window because it was partially up, and his glasses fell down into the well.
Do you ever remember saying that maybe you thought they fell around your lap?
No, they fell in the well.
Okay.
They fell on what?
In the well.
And when you're saying the well, I want to show you right now what has been marked as State's Exhibit number 28. Do you recognize what we're seeing here on the driver's side of your vehicle?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I'm going to show you what's now been marked as 27. Do you recognize those glasses?
Yes, those are Jason's glasses.
Let me ask you a question about Jason. When we see the victim here in State's Exhibit number 85, he's wearing glasses, right?
Yes.
Did he wear them all the time?
Yes.
Could he see without them?
No.
Now, Your Honor, State would move 85 into evidence if I had not already done so.
Received.
So the bicyclist reaches in, punches your husband, his glasses go flying. Did you see any injuries to your husband?
No. I didn't look at him. He put his hand up to his face, and then he said, "Where are my glasses?" And I said, "I'm trying to reach them. They're in the well." And then he goes like this, and he goes, "I'm bleeding."
And just so we're clear, you reached up with your right hand as you were saying this and touched the right side of your face. Is that correct?
My husband.
But you just showed us that was what you were doing with your hand to your face. Was a depiction of what your husband did, right?
Yes.
Okay, so he gets punched on the right side, he reaches up with his right hand and says he's bleeding.
That is correct.
Did you see the blood?
I did not.
What's the bicyclist do?
The bicyclist then rides off.
And when he rides off, what direction does he go?
I believe, well, what I remember was he rode off and he turned the corner to go up Holton.
What did you do then?
At that moment, I was stunned. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't understand why this man on the bike came up to the car to punch him. You know, we didn't do anything. I just swerved around him. My husband said, "What the heck?" And then he comes up and he punches my husband. So all this is happening. I'm thinking, you know, why did this happen? And at the same time, I'm trying to reach down to find my husband's glasses. And as I'm trying to do that, the light turns green, and then I start thinking, okay, I can't hold up traffic, so I need to start driving. So I start driving to go straight, to continue going the direction I was going originally.
You end up turning north.
Yes.
Why?
Well, as I was driving straight, Jason said, "Just turn the corner. I want to talk to him."
And when you turned the corner, where was the bicyclist?
Well, I didn't see him at first. I turned the corner, and as I turned the corner, once I saw him, I stopped.
And then what happened?
And then my husband exited the vehicle.
What'd your husband do then?
He started walking towards the man on the bike.
Did he eventually start jogging?
Objection leading.
Overruled.
I don't recall if he was running. Because I started driving forward.
Okay. So your husband gets out, he starts walking, and you start driving forward, right?
Yes.
Why'd you drive forward?
Because I wanted to meet up with my husband. I wanted to be next to him.
You put your hazards on?
I don't remember.
Now, your husband, while he's moving in whatever speed he is towards this bicyclist, where is the bicyclist now?
So after I turned the corner and I stopped and my husband exited the car, the bicyclist got onto the sidewalk and started riding his bike north, and then stopped riding his bike, and then got off of his bike, and then walked his bike over to the right.
Is there like some stairs that go down there?
There's some stairs there, yes.
And as your husband is moving towards the bicyclist, what's the bicyclist doing?
He's standing there and looking at me.
You've pulled up in your car, right?
I pulled up and he's looking at me.
What's your husband doing?
My husband's walking or approaching him.
Now, ma'am, you stated that your husband told you that he wanted to talk to him. Do you remember telling the police that your husband was going to go confront him?
I don't remember that.
Your husband did go towards this bicyclist, didn't he?
Yes.
And as he's going towards this bicyclist, did you hear any yelling or screaming?
No.
Did anybody ever use the N-word during this?
No.
As your husband kind of gets to that area where the bicyclist is, what happens next?
So as my husband is approaching the bicyclist is, and he's looking at me and looking at him, and he had these really dark, cold eyes, and he was staring at me.
And then what happens?
And then I see him pull out his hand, and then I see a gun in his hand.
And then what happens?
And then I shout out to my husband, he has a gun.
What happens?
My husband didn't hear me.
What's your husband do?
All I saw was this man's eyes and the gun. And then I knew he was going to shoot my husband. I could just feel it. And then he pulled the trigger on his head. And then he looked at me. He kept looking at me. Actually, he never took his eyes off of me. And I felt like he was contemplating on shooting me next.
So after your husband is shot, there's a pause. Is that what you're telling me?
There was a pause.
Okay. When you see this man shoot your husband, the victim, what does he do? What happens to your husband after the shot?
My husband dropped to the floor, to the ground. Instantly dropped.
And then there's this pause. Then what does the bicyclist do?
Just stares at me.
And then what?
And then I look to the right and I see that there's someone standing there to the right. And then I look back at him. And then he slowly turns, but maintaining eye contact with me. And then he walks over and he steps over my husband and then he walks down the stairs with his bike.
What do you do next?
I run up to my husband.
So you got out of your car?
I got out of my car and I run up to my husband and I put my hand on his back and I start screaming, Jason, 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 are you alive? Jason, are you okay? And he didn't move.
Then what did you do?
And then I realized that he was dead.
Did you go back to your car?
I don't remember going back to my car.
Did you...
I remember trying to dial 911.
Okay. And were you able to do so?
I was so shaken I couldn't put my 6-digit number code in there.
Your code to get your phone in?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes. Yes, I was struggling, I was trembling, I was trying to put my passcode in there and I couldn't do it, so then I turned to look again at the people who were behind me and I think I walked up to them or ran up to them, I can't recall, and I shouted, I said, can you please call 911? I can't do it. Please call 911. This man just shot and killed my husband.
Okay.
Please. And I remember they hesitated. They didn't start dialing right away, and then I started screaming, please call 911, please call 911. Why isn't anybody helping me?
Okay. She did call 911. You saw her call 911?
Then I saw her when I said, why isn't anybody helping me? Then she started to dial 911.
Okay. And this was a vehicle that you believed had been behind you the entire time, or you saw pull up behind you?
No, I don't know if they were behind me the entire time. I just saw them there after I saw my husband get shot, and then I thought I was all alone, and I thought I was going to get shot next, and so I looked to see if there was any other witnesses.
And that's when you saw a vehicle behind you?
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes.
And then you go, just so I'm clear, you go to your husband's body, and then at some point you're having an interaction with a woman in a car. Is that correct, or a truck?
Yes.
Okay. Now, once you know that this woman is calling 911, do you call anybody?
Excuse me, I didn't hear you.
He's
Yeah,
a
sure.
little louder.
Do you call anybody on your phone after you know that this woman is calling 911?
Yes. I call my daughter.
You call your daughter. And how does she take the news?
She didn't believe me. She thought I was joking.
And then do you call anyone else?
I was still on the phone with her, and I said to her, I said, Amelia, your father's been shot. Your father's dead. I need you to come down here. I'm on Holton and Brady. I need you. And she says, Mom, well, that's not funny. And I said, no, I'm telling you the truth.
Did you call anyone else after your daughter?
Then I called she's my friend. Her name's Ivana, and I called her. She's like a sister to me.
Did you call her ask her to come join you to give you support?
I did. I called her. I've known her for the whole time I've known Jason. I actually met her through Jason. Ivana is my husband's ex-girlfriend's sister. And we became like sisters. We're really close. And her daughter lives down the street. She lives on Astor and Brady. And her Aunt Maria lives also on Astor. And they're family to me. And I wanted family to be there with me. So I called her because I asked her if could she, told her, I said, Jason's been shot. She didn't believe me either. And I said, I need you here, I need you here. Can you please call Maria too? I need her here.
And that would be her daughter?
No, her aunt. And she said, I will. I'll call everybody and we'll be there.
And is there
Evanjelina
some...
Cleereman on the witness stand. We need to slip in a break here. More testimony. We're going to pick it up right where we left off after this. Welcome back to Court TV Live. Evanjelina Cleereman is on the witness stand for the state of Milwaukee in their case against Theodore Edgecomb. She's the widow of Jason Cleereman, the victim in this case. Let's rejoin where we left off.
Is there someone that's related to Anna that is dating a South Milwaukee police officer?
Yes,
Who is that?
Davina is her daughter.
Did you call Davina?
No,
Did you call that boyfriend?
no, I don't have his number.
When that family shows up and he shows up along with them, do you have anything to do with that?
No,
Ma'am, you're calling people. At some point, do you go back to your husband's body a second time?
yes.
What do you do when you go over there?
I go over there and I'm wanting to hug him. I wanted to pick him up. I wanted to hug him, but I couldn't. I knew I couldn't touch him and move him. So I wanted something of his that I could hold on to. And so I grabbed his wallet.
Where was his wallet?
It was in his back right pocket.
His back right pants pocket?
Yes.
Did you grab anything from the front?
No.
Was he laying face down?
Yes.
Now, one moment. Ma'am, when the officers arrived on scene, did you still have your husband's wallet?
Yes.
Did you give it to him?
Yes. I was holding it the whole time in my hands. Just one moment, ma'am. Now, ma'am,
I have State's Exhibit number 83, which is the body cam of Officer Doring, currently on the TV. Do you recognize the person that we're going to be seeing interacting with these officers?
Yes, I believe that's me.
It's a little hard at this pause point, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to play from this portion, which is 6 minutes and 2 seconds into the recording.
Okay, ma'am, let me get his ID. Yeah, come on, let's walk.
Pausing at 6 minutes and 8 seconds. What did we just hear you say there, ma'am?
I thought I remembered it, having the wallet in my hands.
You said, I have his wallet, right?
I have his wallets.
Okay,
Or
so
wallet.
he had his wallet in his back pocket. You went and you grabbed it, and right there, when the officers are first arriving on scene, we hear you saying, I have his wallet. Do you give it to them?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Okay, now ma'am, this may sound odd, but I have to talk to you about kind of the manner in which your demeanor was at various different points after this. You just saw your husband get shot right in front of you, right?
Yes,
Was that a traumatic experience for you?
very.
Were there periods where you were questioning why you weren't reacting or crying more?
Yes,
Ma'am, were there times that you did cry?
yes.
Okay. But in terms of what we're talking about here, just one moment while I mess with our ancient IT equipment here.
Okay, a little technical difficulty there in the courtroom. We'll slip in a break. More testimony from the widow when we return. Welcome back to our continuing coverage of the state of Wisconsin versus Theodore, Edgecomb. In many trials, there's a witness that can make or break a case. In this trial, there are two. The defendant, who we expect to hear from later today. The other is the widow of the victim. She's on the stand now. Let's rejoin where we left off after their technical difficulties were figured out.
And I'm going to be pulling some up here in a minute, but do you remember even asking the officer, I can't cry. Why am I not crying?
I do recall that.
Did you think you were in shock?
I was definitely in shock. When I'm in shock, or when something's really troubling me, our son, when he was 1, if that's okay if I can share this story, he was 1 year old, and he hadn't had his testicle descend yet. And we had to go in for surgery. And I was very scared, very, very scared. And that whole week I had to be strong because when the doctor went in, they found a teratoma tumor, and they had to do a surgery.
Overruled. You put this in play with your opening statements when you implied that this witness's demeanor was a factor in her credibility. Overruled.
And that was a very, very scary time for Jason and I in our lives. And the doctor, you know, he said, I've got to tell you that when I went in there to just, you know, go in to bring his testicle down, I found that it was strangled by a teratoma tumor that was the size of an orange. And he said it's going to be, you know, extensive surgery. And so that whole time I was really scared, but I couldn't cry. I just had to be strong. I had to be strong in that moment.
All right, let me interrupt. Just ask another question. Go ahead, Mr. Cleereman.
Yes. Now, I have currently, there was a period of time when you're speaking to the officers at the scene, and you're in the back of a squad car, is that correct? Do you remember sitting in the back of a squad car for a little bit?
Yes.
Okay. Hold on. I apologize. Now, this is State's Exhibit number 83, the squad cam for Officer Doring. I'm going to play from 12, I'm sorry. As we're just taking a pause at 16:04, do you see that person that's in the squad cam?
Yes,
Who is that?
that is me.
Okay. And pausing at 21 minutes and 26 seconds into the recording, I'm going to play from that portion.
Bit shocked, man.
I'm just going back a little bit. I apologize. (21 minutes and 11 seconds).
What's that? Because you're probably in shock, man.
I heard you just say you can't cry. Why am I not crying? Right?
Yes.
Okay. Playing at 35 minutes and 29 seconds.
time, ma'am.
No. 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 It's not real. Real. No.
All right, we need to slip in a quick break.
Pausing
More
it.
testimony from the widow, Evanjelina Cleereman, on the stand, recounting the day she watched her husband shot and killed in Milwaukee. More testimony when we return. Stay with us. Back to the courtroom we go. Evanjelina Cleereman on the stand. We're going to pick it up exactly where we left off.
Pausing at 38 minutes and 38 seconds. Did you love your husband?
I loved my husband. I still love my husband. Our love was so great.
Ma'am, were you dealing with a lot of stress and pain and heartache in the moments after you saw your husband get shot in the head?
Yes. Yes. I lost the love of my life, my best friend, the father of my children.
Now, ma'am, we had also previously talked about how you had tried to call 911 and weren't able to, right?
Yes.
And at various different parts while you are waiting for the officers and then eventually homicide detectives to arrive on scene, you talk to people on the phone that are calling you, that are finding out that he's dead, right?
Yes.
I'm going to play you from 40 minutes and 50 seconds or 40 minutes and 55 seconds. I can get it just a little bit. Forty minutes and 59 seconds into that same recording. So I can go back a little bit. 40 minutes and 53 seconds into that same recording.
That's fine. Other people called, yeah?
I couldn't move my fingers.
Pausing at 41 minutes and 20 seconds. You're talking to the officer about how you couldn't call, but you knew other people were calling, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I want to come back to one portion of what we had talked about. You have told us that your memory is that your husband said, "What the heck?" Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to play for you from 28 minutes and 41 seconds into this recording.
Driving eastbound on my lane. And then Dad. Him and then he pulled the gun out and shot.
12 seconds. In there, you're talking to Jason's sister, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you said that Jason said to this bike. And that when you told us that when the bicyclist came up, he said, "Were you talking to me?" When you're telling it to Jason's sister, you
Remember. I think those are my words. I believe those are my words to Vanessa because when I called her, she didn't believe me. She didn't believe me.
understood, but as we can hear, you stated Jason, when you're talking on the phone and also talking to officers, you said Jason used a swear word that you don't remember today, and you also say the bicyclist used a swear word that you don't remember today, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then said Jason. Conversation, correct?
Yes.
Ma'am, this was a traumatic experience for you, right?
It's very traumatic.
Are there certain things you'll never forget and other things that may be a little harder for you to remember?
Yes.
Quick break, more testimony. We'll pick it up right where we left off. After this, stay with us. All right, back to the courtroom we go for the conclusion of the direct examination of Evanjelina Cleereman. Let's listen.
Now, your husband got out of that car to go to confront that bicyclist that had just punched him, right?
He wanted to talk to him.
Maybe if it was a confrontation by words or whatever, but he got out and he approached this man that had just punched him, right?
He walked up to him.
Did your husband have any weapons in his hand?
No.
Now, I want to talk about this knife. Do you know the knife we're talking about? I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 33. Do you recognize this?
Yes, I do.
Whose knife is that?
That's Jason's knife.
Okay. And would he use it at work?
Yes, it was a tool that he used. He used it to open up our boxes at work, our deliveries, paper boxes. He used it around the yard. He would cut. Sometimes he'd come home, and if there were flowers in bloom, he would cut them with his knife and bring the flowers into me.
Did Jason ever take that knife out?
No.
The moment when this bicyclist punched your husband, did you know he had a gun?
No.
When Jason gets out, the victim gets out to go talk to him, confront him, whatever, did he have the gun out? The bicyclist, did he have this gun out?
What I remember is when Jason was walking towards him, he was looking at me in the eye, and then he pulled out the gun.
Your husband, did he ever threaten to kill anybody?
Never. My husband was not a violent man. My husband was a man of conflict resolution.
Did you hear him threaten to kill anybody?
No.
And I want to be very clear about this, because I know this is going to sound odd, but I think we should probably talk about this right now. You loved your husband, right?
Yes, I loved him very deeply.
Not purportedly, not pretending. You loved him.
I loved him.
How long were you with him?
I was with him for 26 years.
And so that night, you saw a person take a gun and put a shot into the person you had lived your life with for 26 years, right?
Yes.
You tried to call 911, but you couldn't. Am I right?
Overruled.
You can answer.
Can you repeat it again? I'm sorry. I'm really nervous.
You tried to call 911 and you couldn't.
I tried to call 911 and I couldn't.
And realizing that your husband was dead on the ground, why'd you grab his wallet again?
I wanted something to hold on to. I couldn't hold him, so I wanted to hold his wallet. I just wanted to hold it. I wanted something of his.
Your Honor, the state would move those portions of State's Exhibit Number 83 that were played in evidence at this time.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
Received.
I have no further questions of this witness.
Fine. Cross.